He's taken account of what the law is. We recognize that Joseph Biden will be the next president of the United States, and that's the law, and we'll follow it.
So, Mayor, what was it like being with the president in recent days as it winds down? You mentioned, you already told me his mood. What's he doing? How does he wrap up loose ends? I understand pardons are in the work, but how does a president with just a couple of days left on the job, how does he spend his time?
Yeah, I know it's very interesting. I mean, you try to solidify the most important things that you did. He kept checking on the vaccine distribution program, which is, I think, a historic accomplishment. I mean, there's just no president in our history that ever would have gotten that done so quickly. I think Fauci said it would take 2.5 years. He did it in less than a year. No one's ever done that. I think he's right to the very end. He's working on things that will stimulate the economy, because he's kind of brought the economy back already from the pandemic. But we got the market at highs, employment's back. He's kind of working on the things that were important to him. He did a couple of last-minute tweets on the trade deals, which, again, have restored American jobs. He's been doing his job right up until the very end. Yes, he's been considering pardons, as all presidents do at this stage. I think President Obama gave 1,000 or something.
So
it won't be anything like that. Mm-hmm. And I used to be in charge of the pardon attorney's office for President Reagan. So President Reagan gave 800 or 900 pardons.
Hey, he has the absolute authority to do this. I'm curious if you saw what Mitch McConnell did on the floor of the United States Senate.
Yeah,
I want to play this, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
The mob was fed lies. They were provoked by the president and other powerful people.
Here's the thing, Senator McConnell. We all saw the evidence. That's not true. But leaving that aside, how did the president take this development, Mitch McConnell deserting him like that? And how do you feel, sir?
Well, I'll tell you how I feel, not how the president feels. I just don't like liars. Never like liars, whether they pose as senators or anybody else. I mean, he's lying. I have the video evidence to prove it. I have the video evidence to prove that Antifa had a lot more to do with that than anybody else. And so did Groyper and several other groups that are anti-Trump. I have the videos from John Sullivan saying, let's come to Washington and dump the president, threats on the president that the Secret Service ignored, that the government is still ignoring. I have his 1.5-hour videotape leading to the murder that took place. This wasn't Trump. It wasn't Trump at all. Trump was still speaking when they broke into the Capitol. And then you remember that very dramatic moment with the congressman who said, have you presented one witness from the speech that came over to the Capitol? And there was a minute of silence. Now, I don't know if anybody did, but they presented no witnesses that did that. So for McConnell to say what he's saying is just a flat-out lie.
So let me ask you this. Your exposure, sir, forgive me, we touched on this last week. We know that you can't participate in any impeachment defense because you were a witness, technically, potentially. You mentioned the word combat. Are you feeling, I know you in your heart what you did not mean for anybody to be hurt. You weren't looking for that, but are you in any kind of trouble? Do you feel like you've got exposure for yourself?
I don't see how that could ever be used as a suggestion for violence, because I said it. No one got violent. The crowd didn't go into some kind of violent uproar when I said that. For there to be incitement, they would have to have reacted to what I said. They understood what I was talking about. To show incitement by me or Professor Eastwood or the president or Don Jr., you'd have to see that crowd really angry. And you go take a look at that crowd. Those poor people had a hard time getting up. It was so cold.
I heard
it's totally ridiculous.
I heard a former prosecutor.
It's just a continuation of what they've been doing to him for 5 years, trying to frame him and trying to frame the people around him, like General Flynn.
Total harassment. But by the way,
disgusting.
I did hear that from a former federal prosecutor down there who was in charge for a time of prosecuting protesters who got carried away, that this situation did not come close. You have been by the president's side for a long time. You did an amazing job leading New York City. You have had an incredibly eventful life. Now that the president is leaving office, what's next for you?
Well, we'll see. I mean, there are a lot of things that I'll be doing. One of them will be to make sure that the truth about all this gets out, and another will be to make sure that we can put together a political party that can fight what I see. I mean, put aside everything else, we haven't spent enough time on all the things that Biden has in mind for us. I mean, starting with open borders and people already coming to the border because they're going to get free health insurance. At a time when he's worried about COVID, he's going to have more people coming into the country illegally. I mean, that's a little stupid, isn't it?
Hey, by the way, do you think the president's on board with a third political party? Have the two of you discussed that?
I have not. I mean, I'm a Republican. I'm a very loyal Republican. I'd rather reform the Republican Party and throw the traitors out. I mean, that would be my... I mean, he represents the party of Lincoln better than any president I know in my lifetime, with the exception probably of Ronald Reagan, and I would consider them equal. I mean, he has that sense of individualism and the fact that we have to make our own decisions, and if we can make our own decisions, we can make the greatest country on earth. And if we have to submit to government, we see what happens with these semi-dictators like Cuomo and Newsom and the guy in Illinois. And, you know, if your mask is half off, they want to put you in front of a firing squad.
Mayor Giuliani, come back very soon, please. Now you're going to be a little bit more...
I'm not going anywhere.
Right. Well, I know. And quite frankly, with the president back in Mar-a-Lago, you'll have a bit more time to come on Newsmax. And it's kind of wild. You've worked by my count...
available to Newsmax, and I very much admire what you and your network and Mr. Rudy are doing.
Amen. We're all very grateful. Thank you very much. To be continued, sir. Take care.
Thank you.
Newsmax TV is now America's fastest growing cable news channel. We give you the real news you need. So subscribe to our YouTube channel and give us a thumbs up. If you like this video, share it with your friends. Newsmax TV streams live on YouTube for free. Newsmax TV, real news for real people.